Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to another episode of Funday Sunday, and surprise, I'm showing off a carrier game. I know, very shocking. This was actually a game that I did do in my live stream a couple days ago. I don't remember much about the low tier CVs, and I haven't played it since they nerfed the low tier CVs where you can't manual drop or strafe in these type of, low tier CVs, which honestly, it makes the gameplay much more difficult. But there's a very good reason why I picked this replay, and it's gonna show up at the end. So I'm taking out the tier 4 Hosho. We are currently playing Domination, and we're up against two Langleys and mostly tier 5s. Actually, all tier 5s. We're the lonely tier 4s. So starting off, I'm trying to spot and scout for my friendly team, and the Hosho only has one fighter. There's not much in the way of additional fighters for the Hosho. She only has 8 fighters total, and she has 4 wings of torpedo planes. So very limited on her capabilities. But with the fact that I'm going up against Langleys, which are going to be much better as far as actually outright combat for the CV fighter planes, really got to be careful on your choice of battle, because obviously you don't have the option of strafing. So at the very least, I'm trying to provide spotting, trying to also not show much in the way of our friendly DDs. But one of the main reason is this low tier is definitely going to change with the fact that of the upcoming CV. And I am tempted to get the public test server and just to see how it is, because it is currently on the public test server. And I've seen gameplays from other YouTubers talking about it, and I've heard their complaints, and I think it really is coming down to just the fact that it is a new style of gameplay, that they're just not doing it properly, or there might be a few bugs, which I'm saying there's always a work in progress. And surprisingly, we're actually able to shoot down a fair amount of fighters. We actually shot down 3 fighters. We're about to lose a squadron though. We only have 1 fighter left. So things aren't looking particularly well. Now, I have not actually gone to the center. That's usually where you see carriers go in this game, is usually rushing off to the center. And my torpedo planes haven't done much, just because of the fact that there are 2 squadrons of Langley fighters, and once again, don't really want to deal with it, but I figure might as well try to do at least some damage, and we're going to try to go after conning. It looks like some of the fighter planes have been shot down, but with the fact that he only has 1 squadron, we're at least able to get a run-in on this Koenig. And even this Koenig's AA is actually fairly decent. So things are somewhat interesting. Look at this. Look how quickly our torpedo planes actually get just get melted by the Koenig. But at least we get 2 torpedo planes. Now, the reason why I did point out the fact that I did not rush off towards the center was, if you can see on the minimap, there's actually a destroyer that's actually pushing in towards the center, probably looking for the CVs, and obviously I'm not there. And at the exact same time, Langley is bringing in his dive bombers and torpedo planes. Not much they really can do against me, so at least got myself covered. I am starting to push towards the center somewhat, and at least try to keep assistance. And this is the most important thing, is providing assistance to your team. Now, obviously, this is going to be changing, and here in a little while, we are going to be seeing the updated version of the CV play. So this is dramatically different. So in the future, if anyone's watching this in the future, this is what it used to be. But I am looking forward to it. I think it's going to be interesting. I think it is going to be definitely fun. And one thing I did notice while watching other players is when they are in command of the squadron, they can't actually move their CV. And at the moment, whenever you try to use the minimap, the game won't allow you to move the CV. You actually have to recall your entire squadron back just to be able to move your own carrier, which is quite interesting. And it will mean that if a player is not paying attention and just essentially just narrow vision as far as their gameplay is concerned, they're going to get killed by a cruiser or a destroyer that is able to sneak up on them. So interesting. I kind of hope they keep it. Will mean that you do have to plan your attack ahead of time. And here I'm actually using whenever you go for a drop, it's automatic drop, but you can at least tell your planes to come in from a certain angle. And I have dropped both squadrons, and surprisingly, he's actually starting to turn in, which should prove very beneficial. Don't exactly know why he decided to turn in like he did. Eats a torpedo and dies to that torpedo, so we are at least safe. And things are looking good. We are ahead in ships. We're definitely ahead in points. We are actually currently capping out. Let's see if I can get over there. Can I have control of the camera? Yeah, somewhat. The replay on this is not the best. There is a Congo, and keep an eye. I believe it is this Minikaze. There is a friendly destroyer. It could be this Kamikaze, but here in a little bit, you will see one of our destroyers kind of not doing the proper thing. And keep in mind, we have only Japanese destroyers, so they are, of course, torpedo boats. But as always, use your guns in IGN line, as you will be seeing. So things are a little bit dicey. We don't have a lot of planes left. We are sending out another squadron. There is this Congo that is pushing in against our friendly. Did obviously decide to attack the squadron while in the aid of the October Revolution. That is a very good tactic to always use. But at the moment, we only have 2 squadrons of torpedo planes left. And there is a Texas and a Congo coming in. And if anyone has never played against the Texas in a CV or played the Texas itself, Texas has really fantastic defensive fire, or AA. It doesn't have defensive fire, the consumable, but it has really good AA. And just watch how quickly my torpedo planes just get melted here. We've already lost one entire squadron. The second one is coming in. We are going to at least get 2 torpedoes in the water, but we've lost our entire squadron, which is not good, as that will obviously prevent any capability of retaliating against the enemy players. So at the moment, things are a little bit dicey, and I'm actually gonna be switching into the main view of the carrier, which is something you don't get to do very often. It's actually quite a bit of fun because you're very accustomed to the top down. And I like I said, I think this is needed. I think the upcoming carrier gameplay change is very much needed. But as you can see, our team is kind of melting. They're not doing the very best as far as taking care of the last bit. And right now I'm trying to actually get behind this rock to at least pull away, because we are at least going to lose our October. He's doing his very best. I will give him props, but this Congo and this Texas pushing in are going to be very, very dangerous. We just lost our Omaha, and we still have both carriers, which is extremely beneficial. However, obviously, I no longer have planes. I've been essentially deplaned, and this is quite annoying, especially low tiers. You are deplaned, and then essentially you are not entirely useful for your team. The only thing that's going for you is that you provide points. So you want to at least kind of stay alive, and if worse comes to worse, try to ram. Because if you can get a ram off, you can at least kill whatever's trying to go after you. So I have, obviously, got behind the island. I am trying to be a little sneak bulky carrier. But obviously, in a moment now, I am probably going to be surrounded. And I am going to try to continue pulling away. I do apologize to the team about being out of planes, but unfortunately being at tier 4 against most tier 5s, especially with considering a lot of those are going to have fairly good defensive AA. That's, yeah, just not much you can do. But yeah, this is actually a very fun thing to do, actually being able to drive the carrier. So at the moment, we have a Fujin and a Congo pushing off against a Congo and a Nicholas. Now, we are obviously in their cap, and that is going to prove very beneficial because that is going to ensure that we at least keep a points advantage. But unfortunately, we have just lost our October Revolution, and that is a Congo starting to push this way, and the Congo is a very fast battlecruiser. But fortunately for us, the AP of those battleships will more than likely overpen us and not do any major damage such as citadels. So that is going to prove very beneficial because that is going to ensure that I survive a little bit longer. However, obviously the plane is popping out and is now spotting for the Texas. So my only hope is getting around this corner and try to stay alive for a little bit longer. And as you did see though, that Congo actually is running the Yamamoto captain. So yeah, which is actually really another funny story, is I did witness a player claiming that the ARP line is premiums. And this player actually called the players that were driving the ARP Congos Wallet Warriors, which is actually very amusing because I'm like, you do realize those ships were given away for free. But the friendly CV is at least trying to provide some support. He is focusing down the Congo. He's probably have done this a little bit better than I have. Unfortunately, I've just lost all my planes. So at this rate, things are still a little bit tight. We have lost our friendly Congo that's up there. We have a New York over there. Full health, by the way. Full health there. And keep an eye on this Fujin. Fujin is facing off against the Congo. Should hopefully take out this Congo with relative ease. At least you would hope. But at the moment, things are still a little bit dicey. The enemy ARP Congo is pushing in, as well as the Texas. And hopefully we should be able to shoot down this plane. But I think, fortunately for us, the Congo is not going to focus on us. Now, I am spotting the Nicholas. And this Fujin is playing a very dicey game. But keep an eye, this Fujin has not fired once at this Nicholas. And this is the major issue. This Fujin could have actually shot this Nicholas, possibly even killed him. Because I have been essentially spotting him the entire time. And instead he drops torpedoes and they turns in, and this is just very, very questionable gameplay from this Fujin, because this Fujin is the only thing that really would provide any assurance of a win. But instead the Fujin finally opens up, but at this distance the Nicholas is just doing a far superior job shooting. So things are unfortunately not going to go in the way of the Fujin. This Fujin is probably going to go down. It almost actually takes out the Nicholas. Once again, had this Fujin been firing prior while he was in the safety of the smoke, probably could have survived this. Probably could have taken out the Nicholas and started capping. So things are looking pretty dire for us. And as you can see, the Texas is starting to push in, and it is at this time the Nicholas does suggest ramming, and I'm like, yeah, I'm turning around. So the Congo is definitely not a proper choice, far too fast. Next best choice is going to be the Texas, and that is going to be our target. We are going to kamikaze right into that Texas, and he is not going to enjoy this. And as we slowly make our way, keep in mind the carriers are not very nimble ships at all. They do have a very large turning circle radius, and the rotor shift time's not particularly amazing. And unfortunately for this last fighter group that's coming back in, they are going to get shot down. I probably should have actually kept this fighter group over the Nicholas for the time being, but New York actually takes out the Congo, the ARP Congo, and all that's left on the enemy team is the Nicholas and this Texas. I'm doing my very best to ensure that I will actually run right into this Texas and full steam ahead. Let's take out this Texas with a ram. Can we actually get this done? Texas is turning in, does realize what's happening. Actually, he should have turned out. Honestly, had this Texas actually turned out, he's probably getting all his guns to bear, thinking he would take out with his guns. But unfortunately, Texas goes down to a ram, and that has secured our victory. And all that's left on the enemy team is a Nicholas, and that is essentially going to be the game. The friendly CV is going to focus down this Nicholas, and that is it. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Zaijian.